There's a country in the world you've probably never been to, a country with almost no tourists, barely any news coverage, and one of the most secretive governments on earth. It's not at war, it doesn't broadcast threats, and it rarely makes international headlines. It just hides. That country is Turkmenistan, and it might be the quietest dictatorship in the world. Tucked away in Central Asia, Turkmenistan borders Iran, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and the Caspian Sea. It's massive, about the size of California, and it's sitting on top of some of the richest natural gas reserves on the planet. Yet most people in the world have no idea what happens inside its borders. Why? Because Turkmenistan is designed to disappear. It's not just isolated, it's intentionally invisible. Let's go back to 1991. The Soviet Union collapses, Turkmenistan gains independence, and one man, Sapar Murat Niyazov, takes over. But instead of building a democracy, he builds something very different, a cult, around himself. He gives himself the title Turkmenbashi, which means leader of the Turkmen. He rewrites the calendar, renaming January after himself and April after his mother. He bans opera, ballet, beards, long hair on men, and even dogs from the capital because he didn't like their smell. And then he writes a book. It's called The Runama, a spiritual and political guide that he claims was divinely inspired. It becomes mandatory reading in schools, workplaces, and even for getting a driver's license. A giant statue of the book is built in the capital, and it rotates to face the sun. This wasn't governance, it was theater. But then, in 2006, Niyazov dies. And just when people hope things might change, they don't. His successor, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow, keeps the show going. He tears down some of Niyazov's monuments and replaces them with statues of himself. He writes his own books on health, horses, and spirituality, and makes them required reading. He appears on state TV performing surgeries, composing music, racing cars, and winning sporting events. He even built a massive golden statue of himself on a horse, perched on top of a marble cliff in Ashgabat, the capital city. Ashgabat is something out of a science fiction movie. White marble buildings line empty streets. Fountains spray water 24/7 in a city surrounded by desert. The capital holds multiple Guinness World Records for the most white marble buildings and the largest indoor Ferris wheel. But here's the thing. Most of these buildings are empty. They're not made for people. They're made to be seen. Ashgabat is a city built for propaganda. It's a polished illusion, hiding the reality outside its borders. Meanwhile, the rest of the country faces food shortages, inflation, and poverty. Turkmenistan should be wealthy. It exports billions in natural gas. But that wealth rarely reaches ordinary people. Gasoline is rationed. Electricity cuts are frequent. People stand in line for hours to buy bread and cooking oil. Outside the capital, roads are broken. Hospitals are underfunded, and many people live without consistent access to water or heat. It's a two-faced nation, shiny and rich on the surface, crumbling beneath. And then there's the internet. Or rather, there isn't. Turkmenistan has one of the most censored internet environments in the world. Social media is banned. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all blocked. Messaging apps like WhatsApp and Telegram, also banned. VPNs, illegal. Even Google searches are restricted. Internet speed is so slow that downloading a single image can take minutes, and if you use too much data, you may be flagged and interrogated. Only government-approved websites are accessible, and they're mostly propaganda. Media in Turkmenistan is 100% state-controlled. There are no independent journalists, no foreign reporters, no criticism of the government. Everything on the news is about the president, his accomplishments, his hobbies, his supposed genius. The government releases bizarre videos of him winning horse races, producing hit songs, or solving scientific problems. He's portrayed as a savior, a hero, a cultural icon. In reality, it's all staged, a performance, a smokescreen. Leaving Turkmenistan isn't easy either. There's a secret blacklist of citizens who are not allowed to travel abroad. Even with a valid visa, passport, and plane ticket, you can be stopped at the airport without explanation. And yet, more than 1.9 million people have fled Turkmenistan in the past decade, mostly to Turkey, Russia, and nearby countries. That's nearly one-third of the population. They're not leaving because of war. They're leaving because they're tired of being invisible, of being silenced, of being erased. So why don't we hear more about Turkmenistan? Because silence is part of the plan. The country doesn't attract attention. It doesn't provoke other nations. It doesn't beg for aid or make international headlines. It simply hides. Turkmenistan is the closest thing we have to a modern ghost nation. Gold-plated on the outside, hollow on the inside. It has all the markers of a failed state. But it's wrapped in gold statues and marble towers. A country that's crumbling in silence, while pretending to shine. Turkmenistan is almost hiding, not because it has to, but because it wants to. And maybe the most unsettling thing is how easy it is for the rest of the world to forget it was ever there. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more mysterious places, hidden histories, and stories the world forgot. Thanks for watching.